Start record. Hello, everyone. Let you all join. We're going to give everyone another minute to join, and then we're going to start. Okay, it looks like we've got most everyone. At least I don't have any flashing names on my screen, so I'm gonna take it as a sign that we've got most of our audience at this stage. So hello everyone, welcome to this South Asia and Oceania Founder Showcase. My name is Gabrielle, and I'm the program manager at the Cartier Women's Initiative. For those of you who are not familiar with the Cartier Women's Initiative, we are an annual international entrepreneurship program that aims to drive change by empowering women impact entrepreneurs. We were founded in 2006, and our program is open to women-run and women-owned businesses from any country or any sector in the world that aims to have a strong and sustainable social and/or environmental impact. So our mission is to really shine a light on these wonderful and talented impact entrepreneurs and to provide them with the necessary financial, social, and human capital to grow their business and to build their leadership capacity skills. So with us today, we actually have our moderator, Filipa Arrojo. Filipa is a jury member for the South Asia and Oceania region, and so she actually knows a lot of our fellows quite well. She's also a program director at She Starts in Blue Chile. Hello.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle.
Thank you for being on this call.
Yeah, and welcome everyone. Very excited to have you as well as our 6 presenters of fellows from South Asia and Oceania from this year and last year, 2020. I would like to start with an acknowledgement of country, which is a beautiful practice we have here in Australia, which many of you joining us from other countries might not be familiar with, as I was not before I moved to Australia. And so an acknowledgement of country is a demonstration of respect for the First Nations people and the country and water we are on. So I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we all meet and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. Where I am in Manly in New South Wales, the traditional custodians of this beautiful land are the Eora and Kurungay people. So Gabrielle already has done a small introduction for me, and I would like to get to know you all a little bit as well. So I would ask you to please introduce you in the chat below. Tell us your name, where you're joining us from, what you do, and whatever thing else you think it's relevant. As Gabrielle mentioned, I'm a program director at Blue Chile of She Starts, which is of Australia's first venture-backed accelerator program for women entrepreneurs, and also an EdTech program called Future Minds Accelerator for scale-ups that are helping to prepare young people for the jobs of the future. So in the past few months, I have also had the pleasure of becoming a Cartier Women's Initiative jury for the South Asia and Pacific and Oceania region, and have really witnessed up close the phenomenal work that Cartier does to select and support women impact entrepreneurs from all over the world every year. And I've also met these brilliant women who you're going to hear from shortly. So this 6 presenters we have today, they've been fellows selected last year and this year from the South Asia and Oceania region. And each of them will have 5 minutes to present, and then you will have 5 minutes to ask them questions and for them to answer you. So throughout the presentation, feel free to go and write your questions so that you also have priority, but also that you make sure that you use those 5 minutes of Q&A as best as possible. And I would also like to ask you that while you listen to the presentations, to be on the lookout for ways in which you can support them. entrepreneurs, and they are amazing, and they've driven the businesses so far, but they need support, and that can come from you, either directly as an investor, an expert, or a buyer of one of their products or services. It can be by you opening your networks and connecting them with people you know, by raising awareness about the important work they do, posting on your social media channels, or as a consumer to choosing to buy from them. So tonight, as Gabrielle mentioned, we have two topics on which the presentations will be divided, and we're going to start with improving well-being. So I would like to welcome 2021 Cartier Women's Initiative Fellow Edwina Sharrock, founder and CEO of Birthbeat. Birthbeat provides online evidence-based childbirth education to improve health outcomes for mothers and families globally. So Edwina, over to you.
Thank you so much, Philippa. And I'd like to acknowledge as well that we are meeting here in Gomeroi land in regional New South Wales. And I also love that tradition that we do here in Australia. So thank you. I'll get started. 5 minutes is not long. So let me share my screen with you.
Oh, such a beautiful picture.
Not one of my babies. So thank you very much. My journey started 9 years ago when I was 38 weeks pregnant with my daughter, Polly. Now, I had a positive birth experience, but at the time when I was pregnant, our local maternity unit closed its doors with no community consultation. And I am a registered midwife, mother of two, and I've grown my business out of regional New South Wales. After Polly was born, I discovered that this was a crisis that not only my family and I were facing. This was a crisis that was happening all over Australia and was also reflected in global trends. Our local maternity unit closed its doors, but what I discovered after Polly was born, that actually in the last 15 years in Australia, 1/3 of maternity units have closed their doors. Now, not only does this impact the parents and the communities where these units have closed, but it actually leads to increased maternal deaths, increased neonatal deaths, and increased fetal deaths. This is in the non-Indigenous cultures. In the Indigenous cultures in Australia, these rates are 6 times higher. Hence, we had a problem. Now, that in itself is a big enough problem. But there was a second problem we discovered when I started researching about childbirth education and access to childbirth education in Australia. This was the second problem. Many women, when they are preparing for parental leave, find the stress overwhelming in the workplace, managing being a parent and also managing being part of a team. 2017 ABS statistics show that 41% of women leave within the first year of having their first child. Now, as we aim and strive for gender equity and gender equality, we cannot continue to see these numbers of women leaving the workplace. So what were we going to do? We created the Birthbeat solution. I was not able to go out and build maternity units in these regional areas. I was not able to service every single corporate in Australia face to face. So we created our online digital platform. It is evidence-based and inclusive. We support all pathways into parenthood. It's 100% online, which means if you are working till 38 weeks and as busy expecting parents, you can access this information in real time, anytime, not after hours and not on the weekends. It's designed and taught by midwives and obstetricians, and we create a personal, customized experience. We have truly created a community for these expecting parents. Now, our software and our product is able to be white labeled or customized to the corporate brands that we're working with. And we now provide our software into large health organizations to provide to their expecting parents. Our corporate clients are included here. And for brevity, I'm going to move through those. And I wanted to talk to you about how our business model has evolved. We started as simply a B2C, selling our classes direct to our consumers through social media. However, this then grew into B2B as corporate Australia reached out to us, and we truly feel we've now found our product market fit as corporate clients are continuing to come to Birthbeat and ask how we can support them and support their parents, not from an executive coaching role, which is already a very well-serviced area in the market, but looking after the physical and mental health of expecting parents in the workplace. And particularly last year during COVID, we saw the growth of our B2B2C model, which is through our software platform that is white labelled or customised into healthcare in Australia. Now, our global market is huge. We continue to have babies all over the world. In Australia, it is only 300,000 babies born each year. And you can see compared to our Indian market that that is extreme. I was talking to some clients in India last week who actually gave me the statistic that there are more 9-year-olds in India than there are here in Australia. And that really stuck with me. A brief overlook of our financials, and I'm more than happy to go into this in more detail, but it was what we could do in 5 minutes. You can see that we have very healthy net profit growth margins. We are growing, we are profitable. We have solid proof that our unit of economics at small scale is working, and now it is time for us to grow and scale. Our financial forecast for the next few years, and again, I'm happy to share further appendices following this, and our growth through distribution partners, and this has been a really great area for us. Although we focused as a B2C company at the beginning, we have realised through the Cartier partnership and through the incredible learning and opportunity that we've had with Cartier around leveraging collaboration and partnerships. And I'm truly excited about the partnerships that we have established in just 6 months and continue to grow not only here in Australia, but globally. And I am forever thankful for Cartier to opening our eyes to that opportunity. You don't just need to take it from me, you can hear from all of our very happy Birthbeat customers. And I'm more than happy for you to reach out. I hope you will connect with us. And I hope, like Philippa said, please support all of these companies here that you're going to hear from today with however you can with your impact. Thank you so much. I look forward to questions.
Thank you so much, Edwina, for your presentation. It's always amazing to hear about what you're doing and your impact as well as your motivation. And it's so needed. While we wait for questions, I have one for you. So you mentioned that in 2020, you saw an increase on demand from B2B to C customers. What do you think drove that increase in demand?
Well, with the global pandemic, all of the maternity units had to close their doors very abruptly. They weren't set up to deliver online education. The traditional model is still to go to face-to-face education. And a lot of the work that we have actually done in creating our online program is that it's not a static program. Everybody gets a personalized customer experience. They get to speak to a health professional in real time each week so that their questions are answered in real time. And there's no other platform, particularly in Australia, that was set up like that. So we were able to serve the hospitals, large hospitals like St Vincent's Health Australia, Health eCare, Hurstville Maternity, which is a large maternity unit in Sydney. And we were able to very quickly customise their own portal. So it was still in line with all of their branding, still in line with all of their service delivery, but take over all of their care. For one unit, it was the Mater maternity unit, we were actually able to deliver the education to 600 parents during the global pandemic.
Fantastic, thank you. We have a question from Julie Kim on how has Cartier, a Women's Initiative program, helped your business?
Yeah, and when I pitched previously, I actually had a slide that now I wish I had kept in here, which Philippa might have remembered. And we talk about the ripple effect with Cartier, and we talk about not only how it impacts just the business, but also how it has impacted me personally in terms of my mindset, in terms of my commitment to continuing to run an impact business. And I think it's on so many levels impacted me as an entrepreneur. But first and foremost, to have an establishment like Cartier not only invest financially, like it's a really significant financial investment, but it's the time from everybody at Cartier who's so invested in what you're doing. There's so much belief in what you're doing that as a female, single, so like a solo entrepreneur, it can be a pretty isolating experience. So I think it's the community of entrepreneurs that Cartier has opened up to me. It's the experts, it's the accessibility to this global network now that truly has just been incredible. And I believe Southeast Asia and Oceania are going to be the most difficult ones for you to continue to judge for years to come, because we are all just going to shout it from the rooftops how brilliant this has been.
Yeah, and you've definitely have been an amazing fellow to work with from the Cartier team. I've heard a lot of great things and really making use of all the benefits. So yeah, do we have any more questions for Edwina, or should I keep on with mine? Oh, we do, sorry. How easy is it to scale into neighboring countries? And what are the challenges you face with that, I assume? And from Gabrielle, she says, I can imagine there needs to be some cultural adjustments of the content.
Yeah, and there does have to be quite a few cultural adjustments from a medical or from a clinical point of view. Actually, it's still very similar. Birth is still very similar. The model's very similar. So that's a really interesting perspective. However, in a lot of cultures and a lot of communities, they still actually strive or want to have Western education around certain health areas. So around health and well-being, there is still this really strong strive, particularly in India and Southeast Asia, to be educated from the Western model. So they still birth in Western model hospitals. So we're talking, again, like we're talking to a hospital in India at the moment. They have 7 maternity units. Their classes that they currently run face-to-face are taught in English. So I was really surprised by that. But it just is about doing the R&D, about doing the research, knowing where the easier fits are going to be as we grow globally. Canada and UK are going to be, you know, the easier, and we're already selling into those areas directly through B2C with social media, through no paid strategy. Just when you're on social media, anyone in the world can find you. Particularly as those communities also continuing to be impacted by COVID-19, they don't have the face-to-face option. So although global growth wasn't part of our strategy for this year, it's actually just happened incidentally because of COVID-19. But with it is always some challenges, but we're already seeing that growth without a significant marketing budget behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's those needs and the fact that you have great product market fit, so really adjusted to the needs in the market and of the expecting parents as well as corporates.
Yes. And I think it is important to note that we are, you know, we're profitable and we're growing and we're scaling, already only such a small part of the domestic market. So we still have a lot of work to be doing here in the domestic market.
Mm-hmm. Well, we received a question from Alban, but I will ask you, Edwina, to reply in the chat because the time has run out. Thank you so much for your presentation and answering our questions. If you would like to connect with Edwina and chat more, as well as any of the other presenters, you can do so in this link that I just posted in the chat. For that, you will have to register, and then you can move down on where you find the fellows. You can go and click speak with them in one of their virtual booths. So thank you so much, Edwina.
Thank you.
And up next, we have Jenna Leo, that is a 2020 Cartier Women Initiative Fellow, and she's the co-founder and CEO of Like Family, and also recently has welcomed the latest member of her family. And Like Family uses technology to connect passion community members with vulnerable people to reduce social isolation and improve independence through affordable companionship services. Jenna, welcome, and over to you.
Thanks so much. I'll just get straight into it and share my screen.
Go ahead.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
So yes, as you said, Philippa, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Like Family. And my husband is actually my co-founder. And we started in 2016 because of a personal problem that we had when we moved his parents over from Montreal to Sydney. And after his dad had lung cancer and his mum got a brain virus called encephalitis. And the biggest problem that we had wasn't about finding medical care, but was a way for them to connect and engage within the community whilst maintaining their dignity and independence. They didn't need somebody who could shower them or provide any kind of qualified services, but what they did need was someone who they could have a conversation with, someone who could help them with their daily needs in terms of connection and relationships. And it really opened us up to the wider problem, which is around loneliness. So loneliness has become an even bigger epidemic that's worse than smoking or obesity. And it is a health problem that is preventative, and it's all about building relationships and finding that way to connect before it becomes a bigger problem. And when we recognized this as the problem and we looked at the current care model, we saw that it was unsuitable for social care because there was an undersupply of workers. The quality and the purpose behind the current care industry was not targeted towards social care. So it really was a gap that was missing in the market. So what we do at Like Family is connect local social carers like Valentina with members like Brian. So the main group of people that we are, who are our members, are people with disability. However, they are also people who are elderly, as well as people who have shorter term physical impairments like broken bones, new mothers, etc. And we connect them to build real relationships. And as you can see, Valentina and Brian get along really, really well together. They have lots of fun, but it's not just about bringing them together. It's also about making them feel part of their community and giving our members the skills and abilities to connect with other people in the community as well. So we are also, as you can see, Brian in a group of our members together. So we do this through our trusted digital marketplace, and we vet all of our social carers. So that enables people to have effective matches. Our online platform and app allows people to have choice and control about who they want to work with, when they want to work, and how they want to do that. But we also build community because it's not just people in one location. It's people who can connect on multiple different levels through interests, through hobbies, and other shared aspects of their lives. And as I said, delivering social care is an underserviced need in a $9.7 billion Australian market. And this is just the proportion that is spent on preventative social care. Because the medical care industry is competitive and highly regulated, and the traditional organizations provide services and specialize in those nursing and medical care services. But what we're doing at Like Family is focusing on people's emotional need to connect and belong within their communities. So as you can see, this is a niche that is not really focused on by any other, it's not focused on by any other organization. And the traditional methods of trying to appeal to this have not really solved the actual problem. So what makes us unique at Like Family? So we have the best social carers. Our ability to attract social carers who really are passionate and believe in the cause that we have allows us to attract people who don't just want to do this for work or for a job. They really believe in it as their life's mission as well. And we go through a really thorough vetting process, looking at people's values and motivations, profile assessment, as well as bringing them all in for a face-to-face induction. And because we just focus on companionship and social care, our matching algorithm is much more targeted towards finding real matches and real relationships. Our model and price point is simple and affordable. At $42 an hour, we're more than 20% more affordable than our closest competitor. And that enables people to receive more hours of services in order for their same budget to really stretch out, and that enables them to achieve more goals and independence. And finally, we achieve a measurable social impact that is directly related to our growth. So as you can see, our members really love what we're doing, because previously they had to rely on friends and family and volunteers, and it's something where they would have to be so grateful for a service. But this puts the choice and control in their hands and enables them to build relationships that really last, where they are able to feel more independent and more in control of their lives. And it's not just the individuals that we help, it's also about their families. So our social carer and member together, we're together here at a sporting event, and for the mum, it was giving her respite, but also enabling her to see that this is a really practical service and matching that we provide. So we have given our members over 240,000 more hours of support in order to achieve their goals. 78% of our members and social carers have said that they have more meaningful relationships as a result of taking part in our community. And 76% of our social carers, who are already incredibly empathetic people, have said that by becoming a social carer with us, they've increased their empathy.
Jenna, we are already eating out of the time for questions, and we already have some popping in the chat. So I'll just ask if you could just finish up, and if you have any asks to throw them out there.
Sure, this is my last slide. So over the last 5 years, we've had over 21,000 social care signups, and we've just expanded into Melbourne and Brisbane. So this is just along the east coast of Australia, but our plans are to expand globally in the future. And as I said, we build meaningful relationships. So our members are repeat members, and we've significantly grown year on year and have now had over $15 million in booking value. So that is us at Life Family. Please let me know if you have questions.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Jenna. So amazing to see everything you do and the care you put behind it, and the amazing success you're having with both carers and people benefiting from your services. We have 2 questions from Alban. So the first one is, how do you source your social carers? What are their profiles?
So we have several profiles. So one of them is students, mainly university students or TAFE students. And they're people who might or might not be studying social services. So something along nursing or occupational therapy, community services, as well as people who study things like economics and physics and science, because this gives them experience and a way to earn extra money on the side. And then we have our stay-at-home mums, and they're really looking for something to so that they can support their family whilst their children are at work. And for a lot of them, they haven't been in the workforce for a while, so their main skill is about building relationships, staying super organized, and helping people out. So they're really suited to this. And then we have recent retirees, and what's excellent about them is that they have a lot more of a free schedule. And a lot of them are actually people who did work in a lot more occupations, such as lawyers and accountants, who didn't have as much of that connection. And they're really looking to do more community-based work after retirement.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much, Jenna. We are out of time for questions, so I will ask you to please answer Alban and Gabrielle in the chat. And again, anyone that would like to connect with Jenna, feel free to jump onto her virtual booth on the Cartier this link that I just posted to be able to speak with her. So thank you so much again, Jenna, for sharing with us, and congrats on the phenomenal work. All right. Up next, we have as well a 2020 fellow, Lisa King, founder of Eat My Lunch, a company that uses a buy one, give one model to give free lunches to children in need, with the mission to ensure that no child goes to school hungry. Welcome, Lisa. Over to you. We want to eat. We want to eat more. No, we want to eat more as well. But we want to hear more about Eat My Lunch.
Great. So look, about 6 years ago, I was sitting at home watching the news, and there was a piece that showed a reporter going to a school in quite a poor area of Auckland. And he asked a classroom of 10-year-olds to put their lunches on their desks. Now, in New Zealand, we don't have a government-funded lunch program, so everyone brings their own lunches from home. And of the class of 24 kids, only 2 of them actually had lunch. And those lunches consisted of like a bag of chips or a couple of bits of white bread. And it is really hard to believe that in a rich, an abundant country like New Zealand, that 1 in 5 children are actually living in poverty and not having access to, the most basic needs, such as food security. And we estimate that there are at least 25,000 kids going to school every day without food. And that's quite a big number for a population of just 5 million. So as a mum of 2, I just couldn't imagine my own children going to school and not eating all day. And I just knew I had to do something about it. So really taking some inspiration from models I'd seen around the world, I decided to leave my corporate job and start Eat My Lunch, which is a company that's on a mission to ensure that no child at school goes hungry. So using a buy one, give one model, Eat My Lunch sells fresh, healthy lunches to corporate customers, catering for meetings and events. And for every lunch they buy, we give a lunch to a Kiwi kid in need. So as I said, Eat My Lunch was launched about 5.5 years ago from my home kitchen, and it has become one of the most recognised social enterprises in New Zealand. To date, we have given close to now 1.6 million lunches. So we feed around 2,000 kids every day in 77 schools. Unfortunately, we also have another 90 odd schools on our waiting list. On the commercial or the buy side of the business, we achieved about 2.4 million US revenue last year. And we also have a team of about 42 really dedicated staff. And one of the really unique things about Eat My Lunch is that from day one, we had this idea that we would actually get people to come in to volunteer to make the free lunches for the kids. And so over the last 5.5 years, we've had over 25,000 people come and make lunches. And it's really, it's unique in that Eat My Lunch isn't a charity, yet we've had all these volunteers, and it's really become a vehicle for people to help give back, as well as really gain an awareness and understanding of the bigger issue. And even with a 6:30 morning start, our volunteering has been so popular that we still have a 2 to 3 month waiting list. So Eat My Lunch's right to win is that we're the only catering company that delivers a high quality product underpinned by a strong social purpose. And that's why we've had over 2,000 businesses use us for catering, and we're the preferred catering supplier for many large corporates in New Zealand. And not only are we really focused on the customer side of the business for our buy customers, but we also treat the schools and kids that we give lunches to as customers. So we have a really strong philosophy that if it's food we won't feed our own kids, then we don't provide it for the other kids. And, you know, if anything, these kids need more nutrition because quite often Eat My Lunch is the only meal that they will get during the day. And the impact of, you know, such a simple lunch really goes beyond just filling hungry tummies. Schools have fed back to us that they've seen significant improvement in attendance. So previously parents weren't sending their kids to school because they were really embarrassed that they'd run out of food. You know, teachers have seen better behavior and concentration in class, but most significantly, 89% of schools have seen a marked improvement in the children's health and well-being. At the end of March last year, due to COVID, New Zealand went into a 6-week lockdown, and that forced businesses and schools to close, which really challenged us on all fronts. So our corporate revenue dropped by about 90% overnight. We managed to pivot into delivering fresh essential groceries to customers' homes, and it resulted in one of our biggest revenue months ever. And instead of delivering free lunches to schools, we delivered food parcels to 2,000 children directly into their homes every week, with each box providing them with enough fresh ingredients to make their own lunches for the week. A big development that's happened this year in New Zealand is that the government has implemented a trial to provide free lunches to kids in schools, and Eat My Lunch was chosen as a main supplier. So since January, we've had to scale our operations 8-fold to go from making 2,000 lunches a day for kids to 16,000 lunches a day. And we've added a third kitchen, and we've also employed an additional 180 people. And this year we'll look at generating about $14 million of revenue. So looking ahead, you know, there's definitely, I think, a market globally for the Eat My Lunch model. The catering market in countries like Australia and Canada are 7 times bigger than they are in New Zealand. And of course, the problem of child hunger is a global one. So 66 million children in the world are going hungry. And I believe it is unacceptable for one of the most basic fundamental human rights not being met. And with the recent challenges of COVID-19, we know we're only going to see that problem grow. So I would really love your help and support in seeing how we can take this model overseas beyond New Zealand. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Oh, that's like a lot of things that, you know, really touched me in what you said, and these are definitely numbers that shouldn't be happening. You know, people should not be hungry anymore. So thank you for addressing that in New Zealand and trying to do that beyond. We have a question from Jessie. How did you navigate the challenges and opportunities that come with growing and scaling to these numbers?
Yeah, hugely challenging because we only had 2 months to set up, and, you know, it was over a Christmas period. But really, you know, just drawing on all of our resources, our partners. We're very lucky that one of our shareholders is one of the biggest employers in New Zealand. And they also own half the supermarkets in New Zealand. So we've really been able to leverage and use, you know, their strengths as well. And I think, again, being, you know, a social business, when you advertise for roles, so many people want to come and work for you, and so many people just drawn to what we do. So while it's definitely been challenging, and we've had a lot of teething issues initially, you know, I think the willpower and the desire to make things work are definitely in our favor.
Yes. If anyone, we do. Are you fundraising to fund your expansion abroad? And if so, are you looking to raise a specific amount?
We're not at the moment, and because of the government contract, you know, our financials are really strong. So I think for us, it's always about, you know, how do we expand the reach and the impact that we're having? And we're looking to, you know, reinvest a lot of that profit back into the business.
All right. And in case some, you know, of the investors on the call just got heartbroken at those news, is there a way they can keep informed about what you're doing and potentially know if you open a round in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So, please sign up to our newsletters. You can do that through our website, eatmylunch.nz. Our Facebook, LinkedIn page is really active as well. So, yeah, we'll be announcing news on those platforms.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
And so now we will change topics. And sorry, just reminding everyone, if you'd like to reach out to Lisa, you can as well on the virtual booth. So again, just follow the link that I've shared and connect with her. She will be there to chat with you, and not just today, but the next few days as well. And so now we are changing topics, and we're going to go into the three companies that are preserving the planet. And we will start with Rebecca Perkiski. And I just wanted to mention something that some of you may not know. So we have the three fellows for 2021, Rebecca, Edwina that you've heard before, and Mimi Wu that you are going to hear from soon. They one of them will be selected as a laureate, and that will be announced tomorrow. So if you would like to be part of the my English is failing me. The announcement ceremony tomorrow, you can. I will also share the links in the chat, and you can observe a final really nice ceremony, and also get to know who are the laureates for 2021. And so now we'll have Rebecca present to you. She is a fellow for 2021 and the co-founder and director of the Better Packaging Co. And that is solving the global waste crisis by producing sustainable packaging, practicing product stewardship, and communicating and educating about waste. And she's going to tell us all about it. Over to you, Rebecca.
Amazing, thank you. Sorry, I'll just share my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, you can see it?
Yeah, like just the slide, the Better Packaging Co. opening slide.
You can see the, wait a moment. Can you see the slides?
No, it's not moving. We just see the first one.
Oh, amazing. Cool. Thank you so much, Philippa. And also, I just want to acknowledge those that have spoken before me. Lisa, I was really heartbroken to hear that with 3 children myself. So definitely going to look at doing some team building and helping out and doing some volunteer on that. So can you see the full slide now that I've moved on?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. So imagine a world where rubbish bins as we know them don't exist, where plastic waste has a value. It's worth so much people dig up old landfills to collect it, where packaging gave back, cleaned up our oceans, sucked up greenhouse gases, and provided nutrients to the soil when it broke down, where everything you bought was repairable, recyclable, regenerative, and reusable. We imagine that world every day at Better Packaging, and we're on a mission to create it. And with the Cartier Women's Initiative, we are doing it. After 2 years of extensive design and research, we launched the Better Packaging in March 2018 and had our first product launched in July of 2018. That first run sold out within 2 weeks, so we doubled it, and that sold out within 2 weeks. And we've been hanging on for dear life ever since. These days, we have some of the world's most iconic brands using our packaging. They range from well-known brands like DHL all the way through to small Etsy sellers that you've never heard of. But across the board, they're all wanting one thing, and that is to make a change to their supply chain and to make it more sustainable. Our customers and their customers post about our products on social media. We joke that we've become the first Insta-worthy courier satchel. Our products will break down into home compost after 180 days, but they're still as tough, durable, and waterproof as the plastic ones they are replacing, which means, importantly, that our customers' processes don't have to change. We've sold over 50 million bags in less than 3 years and diverted over 833 tonnes of waste. It's a number we're incredibly proud of. Before all of this, I was involved in the startup of Starshipper, a technology company that facilitates the transactions of millions of e-commerce online sales. It was there that I got to see firsthand an industry that is sending out 87 billion parcels every year. And as e-commerce is exploding 50% every 2 years, the numbers are just staggering. And at the time, it made me feel quite sick, and it still does. We were the first to produce or market home compostable courier satchels on any scale. We set out to create a brand that was fun, edgy, and informative, because in the past, sustainable products have been quite often daggy and fluoro green. We wanted to create something that was not only good for the environment, but it was also aesthetically pleasing. It worked. Our growth has been organic, virtually viral. When my business partner Kate and I set out to design a more sustainable courier satchel, we weren't looking for a home compostable mailer. We were looking for something that was better, and that became the foundation of our whole company and our name. Now we make a range of compostable packaging designed for e-commerce and more. The opportunities for better packaging is limitless. Anywhere you see a plastic bag is an opportunity for a better packaging alternative. We've positioned ourselves as the leading suppliers of sustainable packaging for e-commerce. The growth is stratospheric, and it's not going anywhere fast. As a society, we're buying more and more online. And since COVID, courier companies have seen the same volumes on par with Christmas. With over 15,000 loyal customers all wanting sustainable products, we're growing a fan base that are ready for any new products we launch. We launched compostable tape last year, and it sold out within 48 hours. People want better, they're hungry for it, and when you make it easy for them to do, better they will choose. Our 200% year-on-year growth prove that merchants are hungry for sustainable products. If you make it easy to do the right thing, they will. Not only do we want to create a waste-free world, but we are striving to create a better way of working together that is underpinned by our core values. And we're determined to do it right. As the leaders in the industry, we're continuously innovating and know how important it is to set the highest standard. Our goal is to make the most certified. Yep.
We are already eating out of the question time. And
okay, cool. Sorry, I've been rabbiting on. That's great. I can finish there.
All right. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca. Do we have questions for Rebecca? I'm happy to share that I've actually already received a few products using your packaging, and it's very durable, and it looks amazing, and it makes me really happy when they come in the post.
Sorry, I'll stop screen sharing.
So we have one question. How would exactly one go about composting the packaging?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can put it, the great thing about our products is they're certified home compostable, which means that you can put them in your home compost. If you don't have access to a home compost, we've recently launched Be Collected, which is a network of drop-off locations that is powered by an app. So you can get on the apps, find a place that's closest to you, and go and take your packaging there, and it'll be disposed of.
All right, thank you. Okay, if we have no more questions for now, I'll let you ask them in the chat to Rebecca. You can also find her in her virtual booth, and we will move on to hear from Joanne. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you.
All right, so Joanne Howard is the 2020 Cartier Women's Initiative Laureate and founder of CEO of Planet Protector Packaging. And I won't say anything because I've already seen a sheep and I want to go from there. So Joanne, go for it.
Fantastic. Thanks, Philippa. Beck's story really resonates with me because she's the queen of e-commerce packaging in New Zealand. And I like to think that we're the, leading the race in thermal packaging, insulated packaging. So, and who would have thought that the humble sheep would be our secret weapon to defending the planet. My name is Joanne Howarth. I'm the founder and CEO of Planet Protector Packaging. I'm thrilled to be here today to share with you my story. Planet Protector is in a race to eliminate polystyrene. We're in a race to become the market leader in sustainable thermal packaging that does not harm the planet. You see, polystyrene is a disaster for the planet. 8 million metric tons of plastic end up in the ocean annually. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation predicts that by 2050, there'll be more plastic in the ocean than fish. It is estimated that polystyrene takes 500 plus years to break down, if in fact it ever does. And a shocking 42% of this plastic comes from the packaging sector. But polystyrene is not just bad for the planet, it's also an enormous challenge for businesses. They pay to store it, to transport it, and to dispose of it. It reflects negatively on their corporate social responsibility, and they frequently pay inflated insurance premiums because polystyrene is considered a dangerous flammable good. Until now, there's not been a viable, sustainable alternative at a competitive price point. The solution is wool. What we've done is use waste wool as a waste stream to create an ingenious product that replaces polystyrene. Our product is called Woolpack, and it offers superior thermal performance. All components of our solution are either compostable or recyclable, ensuring every piece can be easily disposed of away from landfill. Woolpack is compliant with all food safety, pharmaceutical standards, as well as being airline approved. The product arrives flat packed, is easy to assemble, and it translates to less pallet movements, lower labour cost, and there's no more shipping of air. Australia and New Zealand, globally, represent a meagre 1.3% of the total global market. Asia is right at our doorstep, and it represents a massive 43% of the global market. This statistic alone reinforces our decision to expand into Southeast Asia. As you can see from our competitor testing, Woolpack outperforms not only expanded polystyrene, but all other sustainable market equivalents in the Australasian market. We've engineered our product into different formulations such as food grade and pharma grade. These provide varying levels of thermal protection and ensure that clients are using a fit-for-purpose solution most suitable for their needs. We operate primarily in the food, the seafood, and the pharmaceutical sectors. These are the three largest users of polystyrene. We have over 350 active customers across Australia and New Zealand, including we're the proud packaging partners to DHL, Baxter Pharmaceuticals, to name just a couple of the iconic brands that have made the switch and are leading in sustainability. Importantly, we're focused on ensuring that our business is well defended against new market entrants. We have 5 patents pending and a strong vision for more. We have patented technology with a well-developed and exclusive supply chain, process power, and now strong brand awareness with loyal customers and multi-year supply agreements. I'm so proud of our incredible impact. To date, we've removed 7.5 million polystyrene boxes from supply chains. We've diverted 3,500 tonnes of waste wool away from landfill, given it a new life and a commercial value. We're increasing the yield to sheep farmers, and we've generated 7.3 million of new revenue for these farmers. We are poised to scale very much. We're aiming to raise $3 million in capital. The funds will be used for new product development. We're very heavily invested in R&D to accelerate sales growth across Australia and New Zealand, and to vertically integrate our supply chain with a state-of-the-art new facility that's got the capacity to service new and existing markets. We've proudly won global acclaim for our innovation and sustainability, and this is just the beginning. We're about to commence our crowdfunding campaign next month through virtual crowdfunding here in Australia, and I'd love to meet like-minded investors and planet protectors who want to join us to expand our impact. If this is you, I'd love the opportunity to connect with you, but thank you anyway for allowing me today to share with you my vision of a polystyrene-free world.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Joanne, about Planet Protector packaging. And that's very exciting that you're actually running a crowdfunding campaign. So maybe some people here would like to be part of it, as well as ask you a few questions. We'll see
Would love that.
Comes through in the chat. So do you have a sheep?
Do I have a sheep?
Yes.
What, as a pet?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
No.
It could have been, the idea came from it. No, I'm kidding. I was just wondering because I love the fact that, sheep are the superheroes in this case, and also other cases, obviously, but yeah.
They are the superheroes, and I guess in Australia and New Zealand, we're the biggest sheep countries in the world, and we have a great affinity with wool and sheep, and, I'd never really thought about it, like when I got into this business, and I was looking for sustainable solutions to replace polystyrene, and I'd never really thought about the sheep, but it's really a very inspirational fibre. Like, it's got so many attributes that make it so versatile. And in New Zealand, I've even seen just recently, some people are making Band-Aids out of wool. So it's incredible, the opportunities and the R&D that we're doing around new product development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. We have a question from Morgan, that is asking, is the wool sourced from Australia? And if so, is there expansion? Do you see potential to keep the wool locally sourced to increase Australian farmers' income? Okay, so if you expand, do you see potential to keep the wool locally sourced to increase Australian farmers' income?
Okay, so when I started the business 4 years ago, it was my vision to use Australian wool and to manufacture here. After encountering numerous hurdles too difficult to jump, I met up with somebody that really sort of said to me, because of the lack of manufacturing capability here in Australia, it's a real challenge. It all went offshore in the 70s and 80s. And so we had to set up our supply chain initially through China. We have exclusive partners over there. They work just with us, and each batch of production that we do, we have a minimum of 30% content of Aussie or Kiwi wool. It's very sad that our impact hasn't been felt here in Australia and New Zealand, but one of the things that we're doing at the moment, and that's why we're raising funds, is to vertically integrate our supply chain. So with the growth that we have, projected, we need to be able to have control over our supply. And we have recently put in a manufacturing grant for matched funding to set up a state-of-the-art wool facility where we'll be able to produce our own product. For the Asian market, we've been working on a pilot program through the United Nations in Mongolia. Mongolia has 40 million sheep and very little use for those sheep. And so based off that, we'll be establishing a facility in Mongolia that will service the whole of the Southeast Asian market. So it's very exciting.
Yes, definitely it is. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And also, Gabrielle has an interesting question. You mentioned that your packaging was being used in the pharmaceutical industry. Has it been used to ship vaccines by any chance? I know the vaccines also have some tricky temperature, requirements, but maybe?
we're very connected in the vaccine space. Our head of pharmaceuticals is doing lots of work. It hasn't been used in Australia to ship the vaccines, but one of our patents is the vaccine protector, and the wool is such a great insulator. We can actually achieve the temperature profile they need. And this morning, our vaccine protector won the Packaging and Innovation Design Award for Australia. So that was it's been a big day for us. So
Wow.
I think there's lots of opportunities for us in that space.
Okay, for sure. All right. So if you want to be part of Planet Protector Packaging's journey and, make sure that sheep become even more of the superheroes they are, do reach out to Joanne. And also, Joanne, the email was invest@planetprotector.com.au, right?
Yes, that's it.
No, sorry, the email is invest@planetprotectorpackaging.com.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for correcting. I will post that so that if anyone here wants to invest, be part of your crowdfunding, they can. Thank you again, Joanne. And now we will have our last speaker, but not for any other reason than the fact that it happened that way. Mimi Wu, who is joining us for Myanmar Recycles. She's also a 2021 fellow and the co-founder and CEO of Myanmar Recycles, that collects hard to recycle single-use plastic waste and recycles it into resin, and thereby promoting a circular closed loop economy for plastics, which is so exciting. Mimi, over to you.
Thank you for the introduction. So I have my screen. Can you guys see that? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
cool.
we can.
All right. Thanks for the introduction again. I'm Mimi Wu, co-founder and CEO of Myanmar Recycles. We're a mechanical recycler for single-use plastic bags, and we're operationally based in Yangon, Myanmar, with 100% owned Singapore company. So every minute, 1 million plastic bags are distributed worldwide. But once the bag has served its single purpose, less than 0.5% is actually collected and recycled. And that's because the global recycling industry finds plastic bags one of the most difficult plastics to collect and recycle. And therefore, they don't invest their money and time into managing this waste stream. In Myanmar, most bags are burned, littered, or dumped in waterways. And this isn't unique to Myanmar, unfortunately. In 2019, Myanmar had the 9th most polluted river in the world, which feeds into the Indian Ocean. Sadly, our global demand for convenience is causing huge environmental damage and devastating global health consequences. Myanmar Recycles is tackling plastic bag pollution by transforming a traditionally linear life cycle into a circular one. We start by collecting and purchasing the largely ignored plastic bags, and then sorting them at our facility into different grades and colors as needed. We wash and dry them through a series of heavy-duty machines, and then melt, cut, and package the finished product called pellets for sale. Pellets are sold to manufacturers making new plastic bags and new other plastic items. Our facility has a capacity of 2,400 tons per year, and we're working to fully optimize. We'll soon become accredited for Vera's global plastic credits, which will validate our recycling model and will allow us to earn revenue for each ton recycled. This year, we're also seeking ocean-bound plastic certification and global recycling standard certification, allowing us to enter new sales markets with conscientious global brands. The packaging market is the fastest growing end-use market for recycled resin, worth nearly $40 billion, and expects an 8.5% growth rate over the next 5 years. We have a targeted market of $14 billion focused in the APAC region, and we expect that to dramatically expand as we acquire the certifications and grow into the European markets. The domestic market values our products, and Myanmar's largest bag maker is an anchor customer. We had our first global exports in 2020, and we're initiating new global collaborations with like-minded companies that will support our growth strategy. In 2020, we achieved positive gross profit, and in January, we saw the best gross profit margin in the company's history at 26%. We have evidence that right now, with our current staff and domestic sales and supply, we can achieve a 33% gross profit margin by simply increasing production volumes. Depicted through the green line, our competitive strength lies in our technical know-how and experience washing used plastic bags and recycling them into reusable raw material. And that's when compared to other Southeast Asian and Myanmar recyclers, the majority of which can't process dirty plastic bags. Our strong ENS compliance has led to supply security with Myanmar's local and national governments, and we're receiving global recognition for our work, which leads to global technical support and new revenue opportunities. While we lag behind in volume compared to regional recyclers, we're actively fundraising to scale our production capacity. Post-fundraising, we're looking to rapidly grow our domestic supply network, leading to a stronger and well-rounded company. Earning plastic credits will transform our economic model. Coupled with export sales, we can achieve a 47% gross profit margin and bring our EBITDA break-even point down from 140 tons per month to 52 tons. To date, we've directly engaged over 230 collectors and purchased from over 60 aggregators, which represent some 600 collectors, smaller aggregators, and employees. We've recycled over 1,800 tons of plastic, saving 30,000 barrels of oil, and we're guided by SGDs related to responsible work, production, and climate change. COO Henry and I co-founded Myanmar Recycles and lead a strong 100% local team with 55% female representation. We also receive financial and strategic support from our fellow director, Kevin Murphy. We're raising $1 million to expand our domestic supply networks, grow our management team, gain certifications to open us to new markets and higher revenue streams, and to purchase equipment to double our production capacity. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope you will join Myanmar Recycles as we build a zero plastic waste future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mimi. So inspiring to hear from you and what you're doing, really targeting this very hard to recycle type of plastic. And yes, if anyone else is as excited as I am for Mimi and Myanmar Recycles team are doing, reach out to them. You know, maybe you can collaborate, or you can become an investor for their next round. So addressing the elephant in the room, we have a question about how are you currently dealing with the situation in Myanmar?
Yeah, so for those who maybe aren't close to the situation, on February 1st, Myanmar's military staged a coup. The result has been nationwide protests and restrictions. Actually, I have a slide on that. There it is. It's the result's been nationwide protests and restrictions on banking, transport, and telecoms. The currency is further depreciated, about 20% right now. But the silver lining on that means that any USD funding will automatically go further. We are taking an operational pause, and this is actually giving us time to pursue the plastic credit accreditation, which is really important for us going forward in our economic model. We're also being able to connect with people within our network on the investment front, and just because I'm here in the US right now, actually. So we're very optimistic about the outlook. 3 months into the coup, we've already seen pretty slow but steady, very steady resumption of normal activities. A lot of our customers have been operating throughout this time, the domestic ones. And there's international pressure that continues mounting to end the coup peacefully and constructively. So we are, really positive about the future. Plastic is there no matter what. And it, it's going to be needed to be dealt with. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I do hope that you get to go back soon. I know that you love Myanmar, and you left family and friends behind, and one of you reunited with them. as well as keep working on this next phase of Myanmar Recycles with the accreditations you're getting, which will be very exciting, as well as the funding that some people on the call are going to contribute to.
Yes, please.
Exactly. So we have a question from Morgan that says, do you find that the plastic is being recycled multiple times? And if not, when do you expect that you will start to see plastic products being recycled repeatedly through Myanmar Recycles?
A lot of the plastic that's used in Myanmar is unfortunately virgin plastic, and it's great in a way that we're collecting that and being able to convert it, rather than having it being burned directly or just having it sit in the landfill. We sell to domestic customers, but we're actually actively seeking export customers to just expand kind of the scale of what we're doing. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers the question.
Yeah, I believe it does. We'll see if we have any other questions because we're already over time, and that's my fault. I've been speaking for too long. I get excited and just start talking.
Okay.
Well, you know where you can find Mimi. You have her email on the screen, as well as in the virtual booth, as I've said many, many times. Do also join her together with Rebecca and Edwina for the announcement of the laureates of the 2021 Cartier Women's Initiative tomorrow. You can find the links. I can post it up here again, both on Facebook or register on the events website. We really really enjoyed having you with us. I was multitasking and not very good. Enjoyed having you with us. And thank you to the 6 presenters tonight and the Cartier Women's Initiative team for not only organizing this event, but the whole initiative and this amazing support you provide to this Women Impact entrepreneurs. If you want to know more, follow Cartier Women's Initiative on socials. I also register for their newsletter. And as I've mentioned in the beginning, if there's a way you can support any of these entrepreneurs, please reach out to them. I know they will appreciate it. And if you feel inspired by their work, you might be a part of it as well. So thank you, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your day, and see you all tomorrow for the announcement.